Jai Shri Ram. We are talking about Rama, his character, and opinion about Rama. Vibhishana once, if you remember the story when Rama and Lakshmana swooned, they fainted, and they were bound by the Nagapasha used by Indrajit, Meghnad. So Vibhishana consoled all the Vanara warriors, including Sugriva, and he said, Satya dharma viyuktanam nasti mrityu krutam bhayam. Satya dharma viyuktanam nasti mrityu krutam bhayam. Fear of death does not haunt those who are devoted to truth and righteousness. So Vibhishana knew that this was just a temporary phase. So there's nothing to fear. And similarly, when Lakshmana aimed an arrow to exterminate Indrajit, Lakshmana says, if Sri Rama, son of Dasratha, has set his mind on dharma and is true to his promise and is unrivaled in prowess, let this shaft put an end to the son of Ravan. So, the condition is very clear. So, Lakshmana had absolute faith that Rama never swerved from the truth. Achyuta is an appellation of Krishna. Achyuta means one who never swerves, never falls, never deviates from dharma. Next, we will talk about Bharata. Bharata had such abiding faith in the virtues of Sri Rama and describes Sri Rama as Apapa Darshana. Apapa Darshana. Bharata says Rama is Apapa Darshana. Now this phrase Apapa Darshana has three meanings. One, it means one who never entertains sinful thoughts. Apapa Darshana does not entertain sinful thoughts. Next meaning is never sees any sin in others. Rama's one quality was if in a person there is even a small goodness, small amount of goodness, he will highlight that. So Apapa Darshana means never sees any sin in others, and Apapa Darshana also means he eradicates the sins of others by his piety, by his sublime nature, by his spiritual tejas. So that is Apapa Darshana. Apapa Darshana. Never entertains sinful thoughts, never sees sin, papam in others, and eradicates the papam of others with his guidance, with his friendship, with his spiritual tejas. So, further Bharata also eulogizes Rama and describes his virtues in this way. Bharata actually says, O Rama, it is difficult to find a person like you. Neither can sorrow diminish you, nor can joy make you overjoyed, exhilarated. Though you are considered highly wise and all that by the elders, you nevertheless seek advice from them. Your attitude is one of not grieving against the actions of the dead or living, or even condemning them, criticizing them. You neither crave for things nor show an attachment for things. You know the self as well as the non-self. Your knowledge of Vedanta, you never feel dejected even in adversity, and your valor is comparable with that of the gods, endowed with great fortitude, truth, intellect and vision. You are indeed non-parial. That is Bharata eulogizing. And then Sumitra, while consoling Kausalya, she said, Satya Dharma Vratadharaha. Satya Dharma Vratadharaha. So Rama is under the vow, and Rama considered truth and righteousness as his wealth. Truth and righteousness were his wealth, and he was under the vow. And so, further Sumitra also eulogized. Next, Sumantra, the minister of Dasharatha, affirmed that while he was reporting about Sri Rama's exile to Kausalya and Dasharatha, he said, neither Rama, nor Sita, nor Lakshmana, nor your own self, nor the king deserves to be pitied. The story of Rama will abide in this world forever and be a source of inspiration for mankind as to how to observe dharma. So this was how Sumantra was consoling Kausalya and Dasharatha. Next, we will look at the statement of Dasharatha, who said about Rama. Dasharatha saying about Rama, Satyena lokan jayate dinan danena raghava gurun shushrushaya viro dhanushadi shatravan. Dinan danena satyena lokan jayate dinan danena raghava gurun shushrushaya viro dhanushadi shatravan. Rama is so valiant, so brave, so gallant. He won the higher regions of the universe, of the creation, by truth, the poor by charity. He won the teachers by his service and enemies by his valor, thus establishing his magnanimity, his nobility and valor in all the four fields of righteousness, compassion, charity, and in annihilating all these asuras, the enemies. Dasharatha also said about Rama, Maharshi Samat Tejasaha. So he has the Tejas equivalent of a rishi. Now let us look at Rama's statement to Kaikeyi when he was to go to exile. He was telling Kaikeyi, Aham hi Sitam Rajyancha Prana Nishtan Dhananicha Hrishto Bhratre Swayam Dadyam Bharataya Aparachoditaha. So, to eliminate any doubts in the mind of Kaikeyi, because Kaikeyi was worried that Rama would not listen to his father's order and go to the exile. Kaikeyi is worried that Rama would imprison them and Rama will continue to be the king. So, but Rama is telling Kaikeyi, there is nothing to worry. What he said was, without being prompted by anyone, I would myself part happily, not only my kingdom, all my wealth, my life, and even my wedded wife Sita, in case if Bharata so wishes. That's an extreme statement. Aham hi Sitam Rajyancha Prana Nishtan Dhananicha Hrishto Bhratre Swayam Dadyam Bharataya Aparachoditaha. So he loved Bharata so much that he was ready to give everything away. He was eliminating the fear in the mind of Bharata's mother Kaikeyi. Of course, Kaikeyi was also his stepmother. And to further allay any fears in the mind of Kaikeyi, he also reassured her by saying, Naham Artho Paro Devi, Naham Artha Paro Devi, Lokamavatum Utsahe, Naham Artha Paro Devi, Lokamavatum Utsahe, Viddhimam Rishipitulyam Kevalam Dharmamastitam. O mother, I do not desire to live in this world as a slave to materialism, to material gains. Know me to be devoted. Know me to be devoted entirely to righteousness, to dharma, like a rishi. So Rama was on par with a rishi. To sum up, finally, if you look at the great Greek philosopher Plato, who was the disciple of Socrates, Plato wrote and believed that a philosopher should be the king. Of course, some people say philosophers are, woolly. Some philosophers are actually rascals. They have all kinds of weird theories. But what Plato meant was a philosopher who, of course, has to complement his wisdom with the capacity to run the state. So Rama was truly a philosopher, and he was not merely a philosopher. He was a good administrator also. He complemented his philosophic nature with the ability to run the kingdom. Unfortunately, today our society is hesitating to elect such people. Plato said that it is the fault of the society not to elect philosophers and actually train philosophers to be able to administer. So that was about Rama. In the Ashwamedha Yajna, which many kings, even Dasharatha, performed, there is a ritual where the king has to give everything away to the Brahmin priests, who in turn actually give it back to them. The whole idea, Dareshana, Dhaneshana, Putreshana, that means the king is donating his wife, his wealth, his children, everything away. And As the ritual goes, the priest will give it back to them. So the whole idea, the philosophic idea, is there should be no attachment. His only duty is to serve the people. And in our history, Chhatrapati Shivaji gave his entire kingdom to his guru Samartha Ramdas ji, who then gave back the kingdom to Shivaji with the direction that he should rule the kingdom as his agent. So, since then, Chhatrapati Shivaji used the Bhagwa flag, saffron Bhagwa flag, indicating that this kingdom belonged to Sant Ramdas. So, you must study about Samartha Ramdas. Samartha Ramdas was a great devotee of Hanuman. Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram was the Mahamantra his guru gave him. So, Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. In Maharashtra, you will find Hanuman temples, 11 major Hanuman temples established by Samartha Ramdas, and many other temples are also there. So, thus we see that a ruler should be a philosopher without any self-interest, without any selfish interest. So, Rama possessed not only the qualities of a philosopher, but he also was Nitiman, Buddhiman, Vichakshanaha and Jnana Sampannaha. So, such a person is an ideal ruler. And if you look at Rama in detail, the exile of 14 years in his prime youth under the vow of celibacy, and then 12 years of banishment, a bitter banishment of Sita Devi due to the fear of public infamy, or just satisfying the general public. So 12 years he suffered separation. 14 years in the prime of his youth, he could have been a king, he could have said nonsense. And in fact, Dasharatha tells Rama, you publicly reject me, actually jail me and be the king. But Rama did not do that. So 14 years in his prime youth he suffered, 12 years separation from Sita, and this is something which most people don't realize. He lived the solitary life of an ascetic for a period of nearly 11,000 years which he ruled, because Sita, after the second Agni Pariksha, Sita left him. She went into Bhudevi. So Bhudevi took her back. If you know the whole of Ramayana, you know the story, right? So the rest of his life he led a solitary life as an ascetic for a long period of 11,000 years is what Rama is believed to have ruled. So dedicating himself to the rule of the country, having lost his wife, by herself she decided that she will leave him, and at least setting an example and telling the people to caution themselves not to cast aspersions on great people, because when such great people leave the country, there is a spiritual vacuum which is very difficult to fill. So that was Rama for you. Just imagine 14 years in prime youth in the forest, 12 years of separation, and finally after they were united for a short period, again Sita left him, and Rama ruled for 11,000 years, living like a rishi, as an ascetic. As a king, if he had wanted, he could have had any number of wives. But Rama was a true feminist. Jai Shri Ram. Think deeply and make sure that you pass on these audio tracks to as many people as possible. Jai Shri Ram.